95% of our lives are run and created by our subconscious mind programming. Imagine if your subconscious mind is running many negative, disempowering, and self-sabotaging programs. How will that 95% of your life turn out to be? Would you like help to change your subconscious programming into something that works for you and set it to attract and create everything you desire? Join Tamra Oviatt in her show Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer here on OMTimes, where she will connect to the source energy and change your subconscious programming by deleting your negative belief systems. Tamra is the founder of Sacred Activations, a subconscious metaprogramming modality that rewires your brain and shifts hundreds of your belief systems so you can break away from lack, pain, and suffering and take control of what you want to create in your life. Tamra has helped hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, and she is here to help you too. It's not about fighting what you don't want. It's about creating what you do want. And the only way to do that is to change and upgrade your subconscious programming. Let Tamra help you create magic in your world. Tune in every week at Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer.
Hey everybody, welcome to Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer. So excited you joined us today. If you're listening to this and you're not live on Zoom, make sure you join my website so that you can get the links to join in every week and be part of the live process and just feel that energy, although the energy is just as strong if you're listening to it as a replay. But I absolutely love having you guys on the live call. It just feels so good to have everybody here. I mean, this is why we do this. You know, I bring amazing guests like Judy Wilkins-Smith, and we have Neil Donald Walsh coming up in a couple of weeks. So if you want to be part of the live process, please make sure you join in. You'll also get reminders of the replay. I just did a practitioner training last weekend. It was absolutely incredible. We are going to be repeating that in March. So make sure that you, again, are on the list so that you can get notified of all these processes we have coming up in webinars. So thank you so much. I want to, so excited about Judy Wilkins-Smith. I was reading through her profile. She is absolutely incredible. And she does a DNA process for your money. And I love this, the money for your business, you know, and of course, you guys know I talk about money and family is so important to clear those things out. So she's going to be doing a process with you guys today. She's a highly regarded family pattern symptomatic work with constellations expert, transformational coach, motivational speaker, and author who is passionate about individual growth. She has worked with highly executives of Chevron, JP Morgan, Exxon Mobil, and on and on. She's absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to have her here with us today. So please welcome Judy.
Hi, it's lovely to be with you today.
Thank you, Judy.
You're in a beautiful part of the world, and I'm a little envious.
Oh, you have to come and visit. It's really, really magical here.
I'm sure it is.
It truly is. So, Judy, tell me, how did this start with you?
Wow. So yeah, way back. I originally was from the healthcare arena, and like I said, born and raised in South Africa, moved over to the US. My father was killed here, and it was a question of either I start writing books or I go crazy. And I figured writing books was probably the better alternative. So I was doing research into one of the books I was writing, and I stumbled across this work, family constellations work, and met someone who said, come study the work with me and I'll help you with a book. And long story short, I went and studied with that person, but got no help with the book. Anyway, started using it, and then people said to me, well, hold on, if you can use it for individuals, can you help us with some of our executives? And can you help us with some of the problems we have in our companies? And what I'd begun working with are the patterns in families and the patterns in companies. And leaders, of course, don't happen in a vacuum. They begin somewhere with their primary pattern makers at home. So I'm about 4 years, I guess, into doing that. And somebody says to me, well, of course you could do this. And I said, why? And they said, because it began in South Africa with the Zulu tribe. Now, I didn't know that at the time. But the full circle moment for me was when I left the medical arena, the person who gave my farewell speech was a Zulu gentleman, a surgeon. And he said to me, you may be leaving us, but you'll find a way to represent us in the world. And I went, yeah. And now I do that every day. So that's kind of the short version of what happened. And from there, it then became, as I worked with it, it became more and more apparent to me that we use systemic work and constellations really well in areas like trauma and organizations. A lot of it is trauma focused or trauma based, but it became more and more apparent that people were saying to me, and then what? So as I looked at it, I realized that it was a super powerful tool for transformation. And I'm curious because I keep seeing a name, by the way, up on your screen. And there's a lady by the name of, maybe I should not call out, but I'm pretty sure she does constellations work. It's lovely to see you if it is you. But anyway, I then started working with what I call emotional DNA. So it's the patterns of thoughts, feelings, actions that we inherit from our families. And then kind of intersected that a little bit with epigenetics and neuroscience, because with epigenetics, the best description I've heard is your genes are the loaded gun. Epigenetics either pulls the trigger or deactivates the switch. And there are really good studies around that for people who want to go and have a look. They can see how an epigenetic imprint, in other words, a really strong reaction to an event, causes an imprint that then echoes down through the family, through the thoughts, feelings, actions, and all of those. But it's super powerful for transformation, because once we understand that the pattern that's there that feels so difficult, or in some cases may feel super empowering, is actually there as a gift to us, we can put down the limiting pattern and begin the new transformational pattern. And when you do what we call a constellation, which is where you dimensionalize the issue, what you've got now is a living, breathing picture of what you're holding in your head. And as we work with that and use your language and your actions and feelings, because we're engaging multiple senses, because you can see it, hear it, touch it, walk in it, you're having an embodied experience. And that embodied experience creates that aha moment and shift and begins the rewiring of the brain. So now you've got a completely new aspect that's coming through.
So tell me more about this.
What more would you like to know? If we're rewiring, let's take a money example. So when I work with people on money DNA, which by the way, I'm doing at Disney this year in November, what I ask them to bring in is, what are all of your thoughts about money? What are all of your feelings about money? What are all of the actions you take around money? When you've got those, I want the ones that limit you. What really bothers you about money? And then I say to them, so now I want you to look at money differently. What are the thoughts, feelings, and actions you want that you really have a heart's desire for? And I want you to write all of those down. Now go back to both and ask yourself, when did this start for me? What was happening in my life at the moment? How did it affect me? What did I make it mean about me? What did I make it mean about others? And then, does anybody else in my family have a similar pattern? Now, problem with that for some people is I'm adopted. I don't know my family. I don't know my genealogy. So 2 answers to that. If you don't know your family system, timeline your own life, because if you write down all the significant events, you're going to begin to see the patterns that emerge through those. The other piece is, you know that lovely thing called spit in a bottle, the genealogy one? It's not a bad idea to do, because what you then begin to discover, and we're working with this at the moment, is you begin to discover your regions of origin. And your regions of origin will also tell you what events happened there. How did they affect people en masse? How has that affected your family system? How might that affect you? So we call it, and we call it genealogy 2.0 and 3.0.
Yeah, I understand that. But some adopted kids adopt their adopted parents' belief systems. But my sons are adopted, and I noticed my oldest son acts like his birth father, that he knows nothing about it.
Bingo.
So
Exactly.
both ways.
Yes, absolutely. My daughter, by the way, is adopted. So what I've noticed in those cases is that they kind of get double. It's not that they get less, they get more. And these can come up as adoptive issues. I work with a lot of executives who feel like they're not good enough, they're imposters, they're not wanted. And when we realize that, hold on, you got to be born, so you were wanted. And if all you could do is take a life, then take that life. And they begin to realize, but hold on, I might not have felt wanted. I'm really good at creating inclusion. We see the gift. They may not have had it. They're busy creating. So in every piece that looks like it's difficult, there's always a gift.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I believe we choose our parents. I mean, when I
have a point.
when I was going to adopt my youngest son, I actually heard it's time.
Right.
And I signed up and met his birth mother right away. You know, actually another adoption fell through.
Right.
And then so we got to be interviewed by her, and then we got to adopt him. But I intuitively knew it was time to adopt him and that he was supposed to be in my family.
I love that. And as you said, even though if we don't ask, why have I got red hair? I mean, we know that Auntie so-and-so may have it, but is this real or isn't it? I've got red hair. Now, with your sons, there's that. With my daughter, she has this thing. She's a physician. But dear Lord help us, she reads every single food label. It's like, come on. Until I suddenly realized, hold on. Her mom was a food technologist. This is a gift.
Yeah.
So they're all there. And I think the thing that excites me the most about the way that I work with systemic work and constellations is it's a treasure map. All the clues you need to become an incredibly remarkable life are right there. Sometimes they look like they're tripping you up. They're not. They're just trying to get your attention so that you'll notice them and go, oh, what can I do with this? If there's not belonging, how do I create belonging? So at all stages, I always say to people, the universe is always in service of you, and so is your family system. It's not there to trip you up. It wants to evolve, and it's asking you to be the next step.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, I really believe we're all a collective consciousness, and we're all here learning and evolving and shifting our family line, future and past.
Absolutely.
And
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And in fact, the beautiful thing is with the collective conscious, yes, be aware that everything that you're saying and doing and feeling and acting is adding to that. So you want to be aware of what you are adding. I think for the longest time, we've been raised to believe that we're small. We have to be a very odd version of humble. And I do mean odd. That means hide everything under a bushel. We've got to be meek. We should do with less. And I stand there and I go, why? That's not how systems or the world is geared. It asks you to want. It asks you to evolve. It certainly did not ask you to suffer. It's trying to get you to be abundant and happy, so that it too can have that genetic or epigenetic strand. So you're the weaver of the next generation.
Yeah. And you're talking about hiding and playing small. I used to do that. I mean, first time I did a major healing, my cat, I hid it. I never told anybody about it. You know, right. And when I started doing well financially, I didn't talk about it in my family, because
Why?
That was because I came from a family that wasn't abundant. So I absolutely love this with the DNA and money, because there's a lot of people that do not come from families with money. So what do you say to them, or how do you help them change this?
I love this. Yeah, because like I said, I'm going to be teaching this in November. It's one of my favorite things. Money DNA, big favorite of mine, because money is deeply misunderstood. We've been taught to mistrust it. I always tell people a story. I say at night when the money angel goes home, it sits around having cocktails with God and it says, I thought you said this was going to be a fabulous gig. I was going to be loved. I was going to be used for abundance. We were going to flow and grow. And I've been used fraudulently. I've been used for wars. I've been squandered. People don't like me. They hide me. And God says, oh, I forgot to tell you, it's when they really learn to see you that they would love you. Money is not a commodity. It is a relationship. And It is a friend. And it is a mentor. And it will show up the way for you that you show up for it. So when people say to me, well, I don't come from wealth, I go, aren't you lucky? You've had the provocation that says, I don't like that. And if you don't like that, then what you're going to do is say, I really want something different. Well, yes, but now you're beginning to change it because you want something bigger. And that is your emotional DNA at work. It's going, come on, come on. The system is going, please wake up, do something more than we can. And so when you have that thought of, I don't want to live month to month, I really want a nice nest egg. You know what? Never mind that. I want to be a millionaire. And you go, ooh, you can find that sort of tweak that goes, ooh. But if you keep working with it and you keep loving that whole journey that you're on, not only will you get there, you'll teach others to get there. And when you do get there, what's the first thing that we do when we make it? We turn around to the ones we love and we say, come. And so when they see that you didn't get smited with a piece of 2x4, they go, oh, you mean money isn't evil? Okay, we'll all go and take a little look.
So what do you say?
I was going to say, we start to look, and the more we look, the more we realize money is abundance, money is flow. But boy, do we have so much that we believe in that stops us. So what I do with people is I say to them, okay, let's do that piece. We're going to, again, build that library. And by the time we've finished, I want from each one of you one new thought, one new feeling, one new action. And it's got to come from an elevated emotion, because the elevated emotion is what's going to carry it. And here's the whole piece about manifesting. When the brain tells the body a story that the body believes, that becomes your new truth. And for people who don't believe me, think about the times you've told yourself how stupid you are, how wrong you are, how sick you are, how whatever it is you are, and your whole body's gone, and it just cringes and it says, this is true, and it becomes your truth. Yes. There's the other side. When you go, I got this, I did a good job. Hey, money, look what we did. And you start to make money your friend, everything changes. I teach people to go on money walks. My high profile bankers, I make them go on money walks, and they look at me and they go, are you for real? And I say, for real, I want you to go and do this money walk. And when you finish, do it for a month and come back. And they come back and they go, it works. They're completely mystified, but money is as living, a breathing, a force as any other large force.
So what do you mean by money walks?
Okay, so money walk, which you will see in my book, that Decoding Your Emotional Blueprint. I say to people, I want you to go on a walk, go where there's nobody else, because you're going to talk to money. And that's how I started with money. Go on a long walk with money and you tell it all of your fears, all of the things that you think about it, all of the things you feel about it, all of the not allows, all of the don'ts, and you talk to it. And I found after a while that talking to it, I suddenly realized that, wait a minute, I'd known about money or flow when I was 3, and I saw canna lily seeds. And I realized that if I picked all of those up in my mom's garden and I gave them to her and she planted each one, we'd have a whole bunch more of those. So I knew that there was this thing of flow. I forgot about it as I grew up, and I heard money doesn't grow on trees. You've got to really sweat for the money. Money doesn't love everybody. Love of money is the root of all evil, which, by the way, bar humbug, it isn't. Lust of money may be, love of money not. But I began to realize that I had loved it and then kind of been educated out of that. And I had to fall back in love with money. When I did my money walk on the way back, I picked up money like you cannot believe. I always tell people it was a 1, a 5, a 10, a 20, a 50, and $100 bill I picked up on the way home because I changed, and I knew then, okay, this is a living, breathing force. And so that's what I do with money. I'm very aware when I'm going into any talks where money is involved. I first have a conversation. God, the guides, the universe, money, what are we doing? And when people start to realize, when you start to realize how you limit yourself with your money language and your money feelings, you're going to realize why you are exactly where you are financially. You've talked yourself, walked yourself, thought yourself, and felt yourself right into that, or not.
Exactly. You guys, we have to take a little break. So make sure you stay with us. Judy's going to do a process for us. And then at the end, I will also be doing a process with you guys. So just hang out for a minute. Make sure you come back and join us for this amazing process. Thank you, Judy. We'll be right back.
OMTimes TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OMTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OMTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OMTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OMTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OMTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OMTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities. Do you want to go deeper into sacred activations, which is a subconscious metaprogramming process? Tamra Oviatt is inviting you to visit her website at tamraoviatt.com to sign up and get lifetime access to free 7 activations that you can listen to anytime you want or as often as you need. If you like what Tamra does and like to incorporate sacred activations into your life, she also offers live webinars, masterclasses, and practitioners training to further support your healing, manifestations, and expansion. There are hundreds of activations on her website that address different aspects of your life: money, health, relationships, intuitive abilities, and more. Head over to her website at tamraoviatt.com and experience the magic of sacred activations. Thank you for listening.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Judy is now going to do a process. Hopefully you have a pen and a paper. You might need that. So let's get started, Judy. Actually, before you get started with this, you said you have some programs coming up. You want to go ahead and share those and your email address before you do the process?
Absolutely. So I have a bunch of them coming up in Dallas, actually. I'll be teaching relationship DNA, leadership DNA, and emotional DNA. But the one that I was talking about is money DNA, and that is November 5th through 8th, and it is at Disney World. And what we'll be doing is looking at what is your money DNA? What is your money bandwidth? Where did it come from? And we will be using systemic work and constellations to work with that, in addition to the emotional DNA piece. And yeah, that's about it. And then, yes, just a very quick shout out to the Netherlands, because I did Google that person, and that person is one of the people on the line. I know I've met you before.
I know who she is. I'm looking at her too. Anyways, perfect. Okay, thank you. So let's go for it. Let's talk about
Okay.
your process.
Good. So what I'm going to do very quickly is a small piece of the money DNA one. And it's understanding where your money DNA is. It's one that teaches you, you know, when I talk about being a representative, or when I talk about sensing, for a lot of people, this is like, you're asking me to do what now? So I'm going to show them what I do with my executives. It's very simple. If you don't have live representatives, I use computer paper or Post-it notes. So whatever you've got in your desk, it could be Post-it notes, it could be figurines, it could be stones, I don't mind. I want you to choose two. And I want you to choose one that represents the way it is right now, money for me. And I want you to put that on your, somebody's just asked you if you're taping. I'm assuming you are, so we're good.
Yes.
Good. I want you to take that first stone, which is the way things are, and I want you to place it in front of you on the right-hand side. Or if you've got a nice big floor, you can put it on the floor, because that's even better. What we're teaching you is how to use your body. Perfect. Perfect. And on the left-hand side, I'm going to ask you to put down a representative, whatever you choose, for the way things could be. Okay, beautiful. So you're going to place that there. And I want you to place them fairly far apart. So now, if you were at a live event, what I would be having you do is what you're going to do with a pen. Pick up a pen, or if you don't have a pen, just use your hand, your finger, whatever you want to do. And I want you to find your place between the two. Remembering on the one on the right is the way it is. The one on the left is the way things could be, or the way I'd like them to be. Good. And this is a modified version of some of the constellations work that we use. Good. So what I want you to do is you've placed yourself somewhere between the two. And I want you to notice, are you closer to the way things are, or are you closer to the way things could be? And wherever you are, I want you to feel it. Where are you feeling it in your body? Throat, solar plexus, just be aware of that. If you find yourself closer to the way things are, you're going to find that you are very likely in the way things not only are, but were. In other words, multi-generational versions of the way your things are. And there's something that's very important about that, and very important to understand. A high percentage of the time, we're not living our own lives. We're not fully present, and we're not creating a different future. We're reliving ancient patterns and lives. We're not fully present, predictable future. But now you've looked at where yours is, and I want you to shift it a little bit closer to the way things could be, the way you would love money to be with you, the way you would love to be friends with it, love to interact with it, and notice what happens for you. Do you suddenly feel like, do you want to go running all the way back to the other one? Do you find there's a smile? Do you find there are tears? Does your stomach knot? And by the way, the stomach or the gut, really important part of you, because your gut is your inner compass. When it's tight, it's telling you something hasn't been resolved. Now, let's go back to the way things are. If you find yourself, excuse me, really stuck at that end, you want to start asking yourself, what do I think about money? Yes, exactly. Whoever said brain, gut, heart connection, exactly right. It's the head, heart, gut connection that I'm looking for. We'll get to that in a minute. So if you find yourself connected to the way things are, you want to ask yourself, what do I think about money? What do I feel about money? What are my actions? When did that start? What was happening for me at the time? Who else in the family shares a similar pattern? And then you're going to start moving towards the other one. Now, the beautiful person who said head, heart, gut connection. You're exactly right. That's what I was speaking about earlier. You want to make your friendship with money so exciting that you cannot resist it. You think of all the things you could do with it, around it, in connection with it. And as you're feeling that, I want you to see if you can start moving to the one on the left. That's the pattern that's trying to emerge through you. Over here, nothing you think about, nothing you feel about, nothing that you do is off limits. This is you creating a new money bandwidth. Now, when your head, when your brain can tell your body and your open heart a story that your heart and gut believe, and you are super excited, you're achieving a state of alignment and coherence. And when you have alignment and coherence, not a darn thing is going to stop you from achieving what it is that you want. You will get there. It may look difficult, you will get there. Now, something very important to notice from an emotional DNA point of view. Yes, open heart activation, absolutely. From emotional DNA point of view, you are now rewiring the brain. The rewiring of the brain is affecting the body. And by the way, I'll talk about that in a minute. It's affecting the body, which means now that biology of stress is disappearing and you're into the heart creative hormones. Now, it's not ever that you have a closed mind. It's that you have a closed heart. If you have a closed heart, you get a fright and your heart closes and you go, don't do that again. I will never. And all of those thoughts start cascading down. And the brain goes from frontal lobe to survival brain and it goes, okay, we have to survive. And the gut starts to squeeze tight. It's when you look at something like money and your heart opens and you go, oh, wow, I could love this. That your brain goes, oh my goodness, she's awake. Come, do it quickly. Switch on. Everybody, let's go looking. And the brain starts to wake up and it starts to look. And then the gut goes, yeah, this feels great. Now you've got your state of alignment. And if you stick with that, you achieve that state of coherence. And now you and money start moving in a new direction. You're no longer reliving ancient history. You are fully present and you are creating a new future. And you're distinctly working with a quantum field. You're observing a new pattern into reality. Hey, congratulations, transformational moment. And you're not going to be the same. Even if you try going back, a piece of elastic can never go all the way back to where it was. You've already begun moving. If you invest in that, if you commit to that, and you keep finding yourself moving towards what I want and what I'm doing, you will get there. Now, for some people, it's very quick. They get it, it downloads, the head, heart, gut connection is aligned, you've got the coherence, and it happens. If it doesn't, it's okay. It's telling you that there is something in your family system that hasn't been completed. It's asking you to look at it. It's asking you to give it a place. And then it's saying to you, okay, now you go and make a difference. You move. So this particular process that I've just done, I'd really love you to sit with for a good 21 days. Keep doing that. Dare yourself to dream. We teach ourselves that we're just going to get hurt when it doesn't happen. I'm telling you that when you invest in it, it does happen. I've been there. I came to this country with nothing in my pocket, nothing. Had been to Disney World once before and loved it. And when I was there, I looked at it and I went, one day I'm going to have timeshare there. And every time things were miserable and difficult and rough, I would go there and just sit there for a bit and imagine myself there and think about it till I was a little bit jazzed and my brain was really happy. And then somebody would pay me and I'd put just a little bit of that away. The first time I walked in to go and into that timeshare, and I could bring my family across from South Africa, and we all had Christmas, and we were the ones walking out of those doors, not watching other people do it. It was phenomenal. It had changed everything. And if you do it once, you will do it again and again and again, because the brain now knows, hey, she's giving us legs to run, we can play. The family system's going, go, go, go. She's giving us a whole new legacy. And the future's going, I'm ready. You want to come play? Money, by the way, is smiling, because money does. It's a very generous and very kind force.
I absolutely love that. I'm going to share my process with you, if that's okay.
Please.
On the right, I picked up the angel, right? I've gone through a lot of my family stuff, but I have been working for source energy as being in the healing industry. It's always been about source, what I'm asked to do, and to do that. I've always had plenty of money to, since I've been in this business, to do whatever I want. I live on the beach in Yucatan, Mexico, but I really want to open a Mayan healing center.
Oh, how nice.
In the jungle with cenotes and a training center where people come. I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't really been thinking about it lately.
Which is why you haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. So when you thought about that, when I put my pen pretty close to the angel, and then I moved it really close to my Mayan head here. And I went, you know what? I really want to open this healing center. I'm the only one stopping me. And it made me think about, I've always done what I'm told to do, and I've always been taken care of, and what I ask for, I get. I asked for my soulmate. Bam, he showed up. He happened to be an old boyfriend from 25 years ago, but he showed up. We got together, we got married, we moved to Mexico. I asked for a house on the beach. Bam, I got it. And then now I'm asking for my Mayan healing center.
And you got it, and you know it.
Exactly. So while you were doing this, I was able to visualize that and really see that happen, because it hasn't been in my focus lately. It's just been about, again, doing what I'm supposed to be doing instead of really creating what I want. What do I want? Well, I want a healing center where people like you and other people from all over the world can come and have events. It has a cenote. It's very special and sacred in the jungle. And anyways, so it was a fantastic process. I want to thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. I loved everything that you said. It really is. When you said I haven't been thinking about it, well, okay, you're not going to get there. But when you do, and when you invest, and when that head, heart, gut coherence happens, then yes, you do. And guess what? I want is the thing that evolves the world. I want, because when you invest, the rest of the world starts to come along. We think that I want is selfish. It is so not. It is the most philanthropic thing you can do. I read a beautiful thing the other day where somebody said something to the effect of, what if we were all taught from very young that to create wealth is not a spiritual defect, but one of the highest forms of contribution we can access? And I went, yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly.
Money is waiting. It's asking to be loved.
Exactly. I mean, I used to hide, money. I used to hide my Mercedes. I wouldn't show people that I drove a Mercedes and all of that stuff, because I felt uncomfortable about that because of my DNA, because of my family.
Exactly.
I've moved past that, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with staying in really nice hotels and having drivers and everything else now. I'm good with that, but I haven't moved to that other part yet. So this process just totally shifted that for me. Again, I was saying, okay, fine, you want me to do this, bring me this, and I need this to do this. But now it came more of an alignment. It's like, of course it's good for me to have tons of money, because it helps me teach others to have tons of money.
This is it. Money looks for wise stewards. It really does. It's looking for people who will show the world how and why it's a beautiful flow. And wisely used, it can create the most incredible things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, money is a tool, and it is, I think money is spiritual.
Money is extremely spiritual. Thank you for saying that. Money is only material for as long as we look at it that way. Now, someone said, what about instead of saying I want, I like, or I love? Let me give you the analogy for that. A child doesn't learn to walk until it says I want. A child doesn't really learn to read, or we don't, until we go, I want. When we say I want, something inside of us goes, yes. Want is another poorly understood word and a pretty maligned word. Want is beautiful. Want is it's appetite and energy for life. And when we say I want, we start kicking that into gear.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Because a lot of people teach you, if you're in want, you're always in want.
Well, yes, you could stay there if you wanted to. It's a little bit like money being spiritual or material. It's when I want, I start to invest in that thing because I'm going to do it. I want to do this, or I'm doing this is another one. I'm creating that center, but it begins with I want, the idea. And want, yes, thank you. Want in no longer lack, limitation, and competition, exactly right. Want is want, yes, I like, I choose. It's being courageous. Wanting is really courageous. Because yes, most people will say, don't do that. Yes, want, and want a lot.
Yes, and forget about competition, you guys. There isn't. Competition doesn't exist. It's only in mind, or lack. It's only in your mind. It's not in the universe. The universe is abundant. There's plenty of everything on the planet for everyone. And
there
because
really is.
Yeah.
Yes, there really is. There is no, I laugh when people say, well, you shouldn't go there because, somebody works in that area. And I'm like, really? Would you tell an orthopedic surgeon or a surgeon or a physician, you can't go to that area? Because no, there's more than enough. More than enough.
Yeah, exactly. So I hear that a lot from people that, oh, there's too many of this or there's too many of that. And what I always say, when you go shoe shopping, do you go to the individual shoe store on the block all by itself, or do you go to the mall so you have plenty of choices? Of course, your choice is going to be to the mall, so you have plenty of choices. It's the same thing with Judy, us working together, us talking together, us sharing. It's when we come together, we help others find everyone. It's not competition. It's all about supporting the system of growth, love, peace, joy, happiness, and abundance.
Absolutely. And somebody said, what about asking for money? You're not asking for money, you're asking money. And if, by the way, whoever said, my husband says, all you say is you want all the time, I would say to that person, invest in your wants. When those wants start happening, you may have less blowback. Wants are beautiful.
Yeah, focus on them. Yeah, because if you're just getting bounced around by the universe, that's exactly what's happening. You're getting bounced around by the universe. You are the conscious creator in your life. And you have to be creating, otherwise you're not creating. And if you're waiting for someone to save you or a system to save you, then you're always in that program. What would you say about that, Judy?
Yeah, I would say if you're always waiting for someone to save you, you're missing the entire adventure. Mm-hmm. That one, I will say I've definitely been through. I had that happen. There was a lot of stuff that reduced us to a nothing. Moving out from South Africa did that. You came out with nothing. The damsel in distress is really, any damsel in distress, you're missing the adventure, people. But it was when I stopped expecting everybody else to create for me. Yeah. And started realizing that if I really sat down and I created, and I didn't just think I had to do it all on my own, I could actually speak to the universe. It would actually respond. Things changed for me completely. And I would also say that that was my big switch in systemic work and constellations, was when I realized that this wasn't about only fixing traumas, which it's really good at. It was about transformation and what you can do with that pattern and what that pattern is asking to become and the adventure you could have. And by the way, adventures, in case anybody missed it, do not all go this way. They do this. So don't panic when you're in this. Just keep rowing. You'll come out the other side fine. Don't be scared. Really, really just do it.
Yeah, just keep going.
Just do
Yeah,
it.
and something I love to say is, this truly is a video game, and we're here learning to be masters and creators. So quit fearing anything, because it's just a video game. You can't die. It doesn't, just go. Don't let fear stop you. Just keep going.
I love that you said that, because that's exactly what I feel. I have a game that I play called Candy Crush, and I use it because I say to people, okay, so do any of you play games on your phone? Yeah. So what do you do if you don't pass the level? Well, I do it again. Somebody just spoke to me in my native language, which is Afrikaans, by the way, or not my native language. It's one of my two. But it's like it is a video game. Do you quit when you don't conquer the level? I don't. I keep going till I've aced the level, and that's what we're doing in life. You don't quit. You don't.
And then when you get to that level, sometimes it takes time to get used to that level before you go to the next level.
Exactly.
But it's just like a video game. And if this wasn't so real, we'd get bored and we wouldn't play. So go play, go to the next level, go to the next level, go to the next level. It never gets boring.
It doesn't. And don't let anybody make you small. No, let me rephrase that. Don't let you make you small. If you do, that process we did, you're going all the way back into the family system, and now it's got to wait another generation for someone. And that's a waste of a generation.
I call that falling down the ladder, because people are always waiting for people their friends or their loved ones. Come on, come with me. And you're going and going and going, and they're back here, and then we want to go back and get them. No, keep going. They'll catch up or they won't. And either way, it's fine. It's not their game. It's yours. And
at some point they will, but your journey is your journey, and their journey may have a very different path. It's like I talk a lot about victims and perpetrators. Be careful of saying the victim's road is terrible or the perpetrator's road is terrible. They are both roads. Stop judging them and start walking. You'll get to the other side if you keep walking. If you keep yourself stuck as a victim, you're really going to find yourself miserable. But if you keep walking, you're going to find there's a pretty interesting prize on the other side of that door. Exactly. That's perfectly said, Judy. I want to thank you so much for being here today. You guys, go connect with her in Disney World in November. Her website is posted. Make sure you join in. It sounds like an absolutely amazing process. And I want to thank you so much for this process and your insight. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this time today. Thank you for having me. I've loved every minute of being with you. I'm a little not jealous, but I wish I could see where you live because it sounds awesome. And just one thing that I would say to somebody who gave a shout out to Vreeslik Dankie, which they will understand. It's South African for thank you so much. Perfect. Thank you so much, Judy. Sending you lots of love. Thank you, everybody. And to you. Hang on just a second, you guys, and I'm going to run some activations for you. Thank you, Leonard, Leonard is a practitioner of sacred activations. He got to be in the live class this weekend, which was really cool. So a couple of the ones he said, we're going to run like victimizer. So if you're a victim or you're a victimizer, a lot of us play both roles to that. We are going to connect to source energy and clear that out of your DNA. And also damsel in distress. I used to play that role. I have to be saved, I have to be needy for the guy to want me. Those are just collective consciousness beliefs or in your DNA of what you should do and how you should act in relationships. And I used to feel like I couldn't be in my power.
as a woman and be in a relationship. So fear of your own power is something else we're going to run today. And gut-heart connection. So let's run those. So what I do is I connect to source energy. You can just close your eyes if you would like, and I'm going to start running the energy. And just relax, and that's all you have to do. And then things will start changing in your life over the next few days and even the next few weeks. So here we go. Damsel in distress, fear of your own power, victimizer, and gut, heart, head connection. I'm also hearing healthy boundaries. Everybody, I invite you to come into Mother Earth. Imagine that you could put your feet in the soil or the sand or the water. Take a nice big deep breath in and feel that peace, love, joy, and happiness flow through every single cell of your body. Absolutely love Judy's process. You know, make sure you're always creating. Focus on what it is you desire. And these sacred activations, again, will continue to help you for days, weeks, even months. And then they'll just shift out and you'll just be at the next level of the video game. So make sure you sign up and you're part of my website. You get 7 free activations. Yes, 7. And we're a huge community that are here to support you in your growth and peace, love, joy, and happiness. That's what I'm all about. So thank you so much for joining in. Have an absolutely beautiful day. And thank you for joining us. Oh, in a couple of weeks, I have Neil Donald Walsh coming up. And next week I'm doing love. It's Valentine's Day, and we're going to be working on love. It's all me and you here to support you with your love process. So I'll see you then. Thank you.